This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 5 o'clock here on your Thursday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Here's what's making headlines on this June 11th. After demands from the family and protesters, IMPD has released the names of the officers involved in the death of Drei Reid. What we are now learning about those men and what's next for the case.
Several organizations are looking to make a difference as protests continue here in central Indiana. How one group is helping those in need pay for bail and get support after release.
And Indiana is moving forward with reopening earlier than planned. Working for you, we're breaking down the changes coming with Stage 4 tomorrow. But first, here at 5 o'clock, we need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast.
That's right. Todd Clausen is standing by right now from home. And Todd, we've been saying it was a little bit cooler as we walked into work this morning. What can we expect for our Thursday forecast?
Yeah, you know, temperatures are cooler during these overnight hours, but the afternoon hours will be nice and pleasant with highs in the 70s and 80s over the next 7 days. So what do you need to grab before you go as you get going on this Thursday morning? Well, you'll have to have the sunglasses. You'll need those from start to finish throughout the area. And then also grab the sunscreen. When it's not quite as humid and not quite as warm, sometimes you forget about the sunscreen. But the UV index right now is about a 9 or 10. So we're looking at the potential of burn time in 15 minutes or so, and then drink plenty of water, especially if you're going to be out exercising this morning. As Meredith mentioned, temperatures cooler, 50s and 60s, so it'd be a great morning for a run or a walk once the sun comes up. And then throughout the day, we'll continue to have plenty of sunshine in the forecast. There's some fair weather clouds off towards the east. To the west, you notice there is nothing to be found, and that's the sunshine we'll enjoy here from start to finish once it comes up. And then sunset is a little after 9 o'clock this evening with high temperatures topping off, Lauren, right around 80 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look at traffic. If you're heading out early this Thursday, this is a look south of downtown at that ongoing construction site here at I-65 and Keystone Avenue, where we have a lot of work going on the bridge over Keystone Avenue. The exit ramps and entrance ramps remain open in this spot. Just be aware of the lane shifting and the reduced lanes in that area, and watch for crews during the daytime hours.
A 13th day of protests in Indianapolis ends with what protesters say was a small victory. IMPD's decision to reveal the names of the officers connected to the shooting of Drei Reid. Learning the officers' names has been a demand of protesters since the day after Reid was killed by IMPD. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with everything we know right now. Kelsey.
Hey, good morning, Meredith. So we've gotten a lot of information in the case of Drei Reid in the last 24 hours. We've learned the name of the officer who shot Reid, the name of the officer who made the closed casket comment, and we've also learned that the special prosecutor assigned to this case wants IMPD to take a step back. IMPD says the officer who shot Reid has been identified as DeJour Mercer. He's a 4-year member of IMPD and was named Northwest District Officer of the Year on April 29th, just 7 days before the deadly shooting. We're also told there has been no disciplinary actions against Mercer before the fatal shooting. We also learned more about the officer who made the comments about Reid needing a closed casket after seeing his body on the ground. That officer has been identified as Officer Stephen Scott, a 15-year member of IMPD. He was disciplined for making those comments and reassigned. According to IMPD, Scott was suspended without pay for 5 days earlier this month. Personnel files also show in April 2015, he received a written reprimand related to off-duty employment. Both Mercer and Scott are African American, and protesters say getting IMPD to reveal more information is a long battle, but they say this is progress.
Small victory to a giant, but we still have more demands. They met 2 of our demands. We still need the officer to be held accountable for murder. We still need them fired. We still need them to tell the truth about what really happened. You know, we're standing with the family out here, we're standing with the community, and we just need the IMPD to be honest.
The special prosecutor out of Madison County, who will now take on the any criminal charges against the officers involved, is asking IMPD to step back and turn this ongoing investigation over to the Indiana State Police. Fatima Johnson, the attorney for the Reid family, says that is a step in the right direction, but it doesn't go far enough. She's calling for an independent federal investigation. Johnson also cites Officer Mercer's 4 years on the force as a lack of experience and a contributing factor to Reid's death. Now, again, Protesters say they will continue this battle. They still want the officer fired and held accountable for the murder, and they also want to know the truth of what happened that day that Reid was shot and killed. They will be protesting again down here in Indianapolis later this afternoon. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Protests here in Indianapolis have drawn out several organizations looking to make a difference in the community at this time. Our Alyssa Donovan spoke with one group that's helping people when they are released from police custody. Alyssa.
This tent has been out here since protests started in Indianapolis. It's manned by volunteers 24/7. The goal is to help bring awareness to a program that's helping pay bail for those in need. Since arriving in Indianapolis, the Bale Project has provided support for more than 500 people. The group helps with bail funds for those who qualify, even text notifications about court dates. Since the protests began downtown, their role has been focusing on food, water, and transportation for people coming out of the city-county building.
It was kind of the perfect opportunity to provide that, not only for people who are generally being released, but especially for people who are being arrested for protesting. A lot of people who are being arrested for protest-related charges are just being cited and released, so they're being processed through, and they're being released from the city-county building. So we kind of knew that they would be coming out of the city-county building and wanted to be here and ready to give them help with getting home, give them, food, water, whatever they may need.
Volunteers have assisted around 20 people with protest-related charges. Since setting up the tent, they've also helped an additional 400 people simply stopping by in need of some kind of support.
A lot of people just need food and water, need basic necessities. So we're serving everyone that is in need, in addition to the people who are coming out.
While the protests brought them out, organizers say they plan to be here for the next several weeks at all hours of the day, helping anyone and everyone in need. To learn more about the Indy Bale Project or to donate, you can visit our website, theindychannel.com. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Many Hoosiers are looking for ways to give back amid the movement for equality and the pandemic. One of those ways that people are interested in is mentoring. Those with nonprofits like Voices and the Inner Beauty program say recent events have sparked a renewed interest in their programs. Both organizations work with young people who live in the inner city of Indianapolis. Brandon Randall of Voices says mentoring can change the direction of a young person's life and that it's never too late to get started.
It doesn't take a lot of time to be a mentor. All you have to do is be caring and consistent. You now have a responsibility to hold that young person accountable, but that young person now has somebody to guide them and depend on.
During the pandemic, Randall says most of the mentors have been connecting through Zoom calls. For more information on how to volunteer with these programs, you can head to our website, theindychannel.com.
Now I want to go to the latest on the coronavirus outbreak in our state. The State Department of Health is reporting a drop in the number of new COVID-19 cases and deaths. 339 new cases were confirmed in the latest report, which is nearly 100 fewer cases than Tuesday's numbers. They also reported 15 new deaths. That number dropped by 8. More than 38,000 total cases of the virus have been reported since the pandemic began. 320,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the virus so far, and 12% of those tests came back positive. Now, thanks to the positive signs in the COVID-19 data here, Governor Holcomb is moving the state into stage 4 of the reopening plan tomorrow, and that's 2 days earlier than originally expected.
So, Lauren, here's a look at what that means. Office buildings and retail stores can open at full capacity. Restaurants can increase capacity to 75%. Playgrounds can reopen and recreational leagues can resume. Museums, zoos, water parks, and movie theaters can also open at 50% capacity. Now, how this applies to Marion County remains to be seen, as Mayor Joe Hogsett has not opened the city as quickly as the rest of the state. He plans to give an update on restrictions this afternoon. And Mayor Hogsett is making sure that Indianapolis residents who need a mask can get one for free. Adults who are unable to purchase a mask can get one like this by signing up at indy.gov/masks. So far, more than 18,000 people have requested one. They'll start arriving at homes next week. This afternoon, the state's 24th Safe Haven Baby Box will be unveiled in Kokomo. It will be located at the fire station on Superior Street. The boxes help a person to surrender a healthy newborn without fear of prosecution under Indiana's safe haven law. In the last month, 2 infants have been safely surrendered using baby boxes in Allen and Coseco counties. Another box is planned to be installed in Batesville later this week. Here at 10 after 5, meteorologist Todd Clausen looking at our Thursday forecast.
And it's a good forecast, Meredith, not only today, if you can take advantage, maybe you have something going on. The next couple days are going to be really nice as well. So temperatures this morning are much different than they were 24 hours ago. In fact, we're running almost 20 degrees cooler. Instead of talking about temperatures right around 80 degrees, we're right around 60 here this morning. Once the sun comes up, a little after 6 a.m., we'll see our temperatures slowly climb to about 63 degrees by 8 a.m., and that's due to all the sunshine that we have out there. You look to the west, and it is really, really quiet. So highs today, very, very comfortable, very seasonable with low humidity and just a little bit of a breeze that'll be out there this afternoon. 80 in Greenwood, 82 in Bloomington today, about 82 degrees as well as you make your way into the Muncie area.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Sports and local governments are making changes to stop racial injustice. Coming up, what NASCAR and others are doing to get rid of what some call symbols of hate.
Chicago says music festival Lollapalooza will be canceled this year. Still ahead, how organizers are planning for an alternate performance. We'll be right back.
Here's tonight, 9/8 Central on ABC.
The Trump administration is reportedly losing its top lawyer. Multiple sources say U.S. Solicitor General Noel Francisco is expected to turn in his resignation soon. The Solicitor General argues cases for the federal government before the U.S. Supreme Court. Francisco has held the position since September of 2017. No word on who will eventually replace him. The White House has not responded to national outlets for comment.
It is 5:14. Overnight, protesters in Richmond, Virginia tore down a Confederate statue of leader Jefferson Davis. About 80 miles away in Portsmouth, the protesters pulled down 4 statues there that were part of a Confederate monument. It all follows emotional testimony on Capitol Hill from George Floyd's brother. He pleaded with members of Congress to, quote, stop the pain of racial injustice. ABC's Megan Tevrizian has the details.
This morning, the push for change in America appearing to move at lightning speed. NASCAR's Bubba Wallace racing last night with the hashtag Black Lives Matter painted on his car.
Look at the 43 and the 21 at Martinsville.
That brings back a lot of memories, huh, Mike?
The race starting hours after NASCAR banned the Confederate flag.
That was a huge pivotal moment for the sport.
Overnight, driver Ray Ciccarelli announcing he's leaving NASCAR, citing a disagreement with the new flag policy. NASCAR also announcing it's removing guidelines that require drivers to stand during the national anthem. And overnight, U.S. Soccer making the same move, saying it will now allow players to kneel during the anthem. Meantime, President Trump is rejecting a push to rename military bases that were named after Confederate generals, tweeting, "My administration will not even consider the renaming of these magnificent and fabled military installations." ABC's Martha Raddatz says the decision to rename a base does not fall on the president.
The decision is technically up to an assistant secretary of the Army, but given what Trump has said, that would likely be professional suicide.
It comes as crowds topple more monuments across the country. Protesters tearing down this statue of Christopher Columbus in Minneapolis, citing the explorer's treatment of indigenous people, and knocking the head off this Columbus statue in Boston.
I understand why it happened, and I know the history. They should just take it down.
And back in Washington, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is calling for the removal of all Confederate statues from the U.S. Capitol. She called them an homage to hate. Megan Tevrizian, ABC News, San Diego.
Companies are also continuing to make a stand for racial justice. Amazon says it will no longer provide facial recognition technology to police. The decision is in response to concerns of systemic racism and is set to last 1 year. Amazon says it wants to give Congress a chance to, quote, implement appropriate rules for police use of technology. The company currently partners with more than 1,300 law enforcement agencies through Ring. That relationship gives police surveillance through homeowner doorbell cameras. IBM has also issued a similar ban with police. Here at 5:17, Todd, we're taking a look at what we can expect wind-wise today.
Yeah, yesterday obviously very, very windy for everybody, and then some of those thunderstorms prompted winds over 70 miles per hour. So some of you saw storms with really, really strong winds, and then everybody just had general wind as that front went through. The good news is today these winds, they are going to start to calm down across the area as we progress throughout the day. So it may be a little breezy at times, but you saw that wind direction. It was out of the northwest with that arrow pointing down towards the bottom right-hand side of your screen, and so that has ushered in a completely new air mass across the area. And look at these temperatures. 59 right now in Indy, nice and comfortable. 61 in Bloomington, 62 in Muncie. 60 degree, a common number all throughout the metro area, even down towards Edinburgh. We're currently sitting right now at 60 degrees. So where do we go from here? It's an hour-by-hour breakdown for you, taking you through the morning into your noon hour with a temperature of 74 degrees. Your high today gets up to right around 80 degrees by 4 or 5 o'clock. And with the sunshine and the low humidity, really going to be a nice day for us all across the area. That cold front went through yesterday afternoon, and then the humidity started to drop, as did the temperatures. The problem yesterday afternoon and evening, once those storms went through, was the wind that was really strong and caused some issues here across parts of central Indiana. While that front is now well off to our west, high pressure is going to build in. As this area of high pressure builds in, it is going to help to calm the winds down throughout the day, as we mentioned, and it's going to keep the sunshine around as well. So if you have plans this evening, it's a Thursday night. There's a slight breeze with temperatures in the 70s. Sunset this evening is at 9:13, and then by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, temperatures will be very similar to what they are right now. We're in the upper 50s to low 60s, so you can give your air conditioner probably a break from running pretty consistently over the past couple days to keep up with the heat and humidity. Tomorrow, it does get a little bit warmer. We're up to 60 or 84 degrees rather after starting in the 60s, and we'll have mostly sunny skies for your Friday. A great way to end the work week, and maybe have a camping trip or something planned this weekend. It'll be great sleeping weather. Maybe a little more in the way of cloud cover Saturday and Sunday, but temperatures will be in the 70s for your afternoon highs. Your overnight lows will be down into the 50s, so get out there and enjoy the nice weather. For those of you who like the warmer temperatures, we have those for you as well. They'll build back in by the middle to end of next week with skies that'll still be mostly sunny, so no threat of rainfall here over the course of the next 7 days. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads on this Thursday. Here's a look at I-74 view here near Franklin Road. Traffic moving eastbound and westbound is moving along up to speed this morning. No major issues to slow you down. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated.
Lingering concerns about coronavirus means Lollapalooza will not go on in Chicago this summer. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot made the announcement saying the music festival is officially canceled. She said hosting the event would be as dangerous as lighting the city on fire. Lollapalooza features major recording artists and typically brings tens of thousands of music fans from around the world. Organizers are now trying to replace the festival with a live stream event. Details are expected to be released next week.
United Airlines wants to make sure that you don't have the coronavirus before you board one of its flights, and so it's adding a health questionnaire when you check in. The survey asks passengers to certify they have not experienced COVID-19 symptoms in the last 14 days or tested positive in the last 21 days. United is the first airline to require a questionnaire. They, along with other airlines, are requiring all passengers to wear face masks during the flight.
Best Buy says it will allow customers back into its stores on Monday. That will also bring about 9,000 people back to work. During the pandemic, Best Buy has only been doing curbside pickup, which has led to full and part-time workers being furloughed. The company says employees will have their temperatures checked before their shifts, and shields will be put up at checkout counters. Everyone, including customers, will also be asked to wear face masks.
Someone in Arizona woke up to find themselves a multi-millionaire after winning the Mega Millions jackpot. Well, lottery officials have not identified the lucky winner just yet, but they did walk away with the whole $410 million prize. There's no word yet exactly where in Arizona the winning ticket was purchased. The Mega Millions jackpot will be reset tomorrow to $20 million.
This Wisconsin dog does more than look cute for customers at our owner's store. How she helps as a store clerk after the break. We'll be right back.
Make every drive unforgettable.
Man's best friend can also be his best employee. This black lab serves as an assistant store clerk at Chuck's all-season sports shop in Wisconsin. Her name is 2, and she's 10 years old. She delivers bait to customers and helps with the exchange of money, except for credit cards, because it is too close to a bone.
She works with me at 6 in the morning till 6 at night. Yeah, and she knows hand signals, whistle signals.
Very smart dog.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's got a very smart trainer.
Greg says she also enjoys carrying things while shopping in other stores and most of all hunting. His store was forced to close during the pandemic, but recently reopened, and 2 is back to work. Oh, that's a great story. Now, if I ever tried to recruit my gypsy to work for me, she would just...
She'd be like,
no. She would maybe lift her head a little bit out of her dog bed and say, try again.
Oh, man, I love that. All right, Todd, if people are heading out to walk their dogs this morning, what can they expect?
You know, it's a good dog walking forecast here this morning. The dogs are going to be happier. You're going to be happier. The humidity is down, and the temperatures are a lot cooler than they were yesterday. Yesterday, as we talked about, you walked out and you felt like you were in a tropical place. Not so much this morning. Mostly sunny skies this morning. Temperatures going from about 60 degrees here at 6 a.m. to about 73 degrees by the time we get to the noon hour. High temperatures today. They'll be topping off in the low to mid 80s across the area with mostly sunny skies. Should be a beautiful day for us here from start to finish.
Show today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
IMPD has released the names of the officers involved in the deadly shooting of Drei Reid. Now at 5:30, what we've learned about their history on the force and reaction from protesters.
And a national nonprofit working to combat mass incarceration has found a home in the Circle City. Working for you this morning, how the Bale Project is changing lives of Hoosiers. We do want to take a look at our forecast, though. It is 5:30 here on your Thursday. And Meredith, we were saying it was pretty cool walking in compared to what it felt like yesterday morning.
Yeah, 24 hours ago, Todd, we were saying it almost felt tropical-like. Now I feel like you might want to grab a light jacket or a sweatshirt if you're headed out to walk the dog or maybe go for a run.
Yeah, the power of a cold front here. That's exactly what came through yesterday with those storms and all that wind. But now we get the payoff here, having to deal with the wind and the storms, and that's that nice air mass you just mentioned, Meredith, with the lower humidity, the cooler temperatures, and the skies that are clear. Skies starting to brighten just a little bit here as you look from downtown off to the west on this Thursday morning. And overall, it's a very quiet day for us. Temperature at 59 right now in Indy, Bloomington at 61 and 62 right now over in the Muncie area. So the clouds continue to clear out of the area and back off towards the west. We have clear skies, and that's all the sunshine we'll enjoy throughout the day today. So it's a sun-filled day from start to finish. 74 degrees by the noon hour. There's a little bit of a breeze this morning. That breeze will calm down. It's not gusty like yesterday, but it's still a little bit of a breeze. And then by the afternoon hours, light winds and temperatures, Lauren, that'll be topping off right around 80 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We are keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. Here's a look at I-65 near West Street and MLK. If you're heading into the downtown area, it looks like everything on the interstates traveling up to speed here. No delays to slow you down and no crashes to report around the metro area. At 5:32, a 13th day of protests here in Indianapolis ends with what protesters say was a, quote, small victory.
IMPD's decision to reveal the names of the officers connected to the shooting of Drei Reid. Learning the officers' names has been a demand of protesters since the day after Reid was killed by IMPD. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with everything we know right now. Kelsey.
Hey, good morning, Meredith and Lauren. So we learned a lot in the last 24 hours when it comes to the case of Drei Reid. We've learned the officer who shot and killed him. We've also learned the name of the officer who made the closed casket comment. And we've also learned that the special prosecutor wants IMPD to take a step back during this ongoing investigation. IMPD says the officer who shot Reid has been identified as DeJour Mercer. He is a 4-year member of IMPD and was named Northwest District Officer of the Year on April 29th, just 7 days before before the deadly shooting. We're also told there had been no disciplinary actions against Mercer before that fatal shooting. We also learned more about the officer who made comments about Reid needing a closed casket after seeing his body on the ground. That officer has been identified as Officer Stephen Scott, a 15-year member of IMPD. He was disciplined for making those comments and reassigned. According to IMPD, Officer Scott was suspended without pay for 5 days earlier this month. Personnel files also show in April of 2015, he received a written reprimand related to off-duty employment. Both Mercer and Scott are African American, and protesters say getting IMPD to reveal more information is a long battle, but they say this is progress.
Small victory to a giant. But we still have more demands. They met 2 of our demands. We still need the officer to be held accountable for murder. We still need them fired. We still need them to tell the truth about what really happened. You know, we're standing with the family out here. We're standing with the community. And we just need the IMPD to be honest.
The special prosecutor out of Madison County, who will now take on any criminal charges against the officers involved, is asking IMPD to step back and turn this ongoing investigation over to the Indiana State Police. Fatima Johnson, the attorney for the Reid family, says that this is a step in the right direction, but she says it doesn't go far enough. She's calling for an independent federal investigation. Johnson also cites Officer Mercer's 4 years on the force as a lack of experience and a contributing factor to Reid's death. Now, protesters will continue this long battle. They still want more. They want more answers when it comes to Reid death. They also want Officer Mercer fired and charged with murder. They will be out again protesting later today. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 5:35. IMPD Chief Randall Taylor spent last night answering questions from the city county councilors about ongoing investigations, including the Drei Reid case and instances of violence during protests. The chief acknowledged concerns about a viral video showing officers hitting a woman with batons and using pepper balls. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears announcing a criminal investigation is now underway in that case. Chief Taylor said the video does make him uncomfortable to watch, and the officers have been reassigned, but he also addressed why cases of excessive police force caught on video take so long to result in punishment.
And why is it working? A regular citizen is not operating as a police officer. And as a police officer trying to effect an arrest with a subject that resists, there are certain things that happen. Like I said, I didn't like the way it looked, but it doesn't necessarily make it illegal. So if Leroy Robinson gets out there and does it, you're right, he is going to be arrested. But even though police officers are doing those things, we still investigate those. Like I said, the day that started, I did that. But I have to go by guidelines. I have to make sure that officers are not operating within policy. If they're not operating within policy, then there's going to be a discipline that comes out of that.
Chief Taylor says additional information about possible charges against the officers will come from the prosecutor's office and will be considered in IMPD's internal affairs investigation. Well, if you've driven past the City County building downtown this week, you may have noticed a blue tent that's set up across the street.
That group is out there 24/7 helping people in our community. Arlissa Donovan explains.
The Indy Bale project is fairly new in Indianapolis. The goal of the organization is to combat mass incarceration, one person at a time. The group helps with bail funds for those who qualify, even text notifications about court dates, making a difference in the lives of more than 500 Hoosiers in the last year and a half. Since the protests began downtown, they set up outside the city-county building. Their role focused on food, water, and transportation for protesters released after being charged and for other people in need in the area.
It was kind of the perfect opportunity to provide that, not only for people who are generally being released, but especially for people who are being arrested for protesting. A lot of people who are being arrested for protest-related charges are just being cited and released, so they're being processed through, and they're being released from the city-county building. So we kind of knew that they would be coming out at the city-county building and wanted to be here and ready to give them help with getting home, give them, food, water, whatever they may need.
Since setting up here at the corner of Market and Alabama Street, volunteers have assisted around 20 people with protest-related charges and an additional 400 people simply stopping by in need of some kind of support. To learn more about the Indy Bale Project or to donate, you can visit our website, theindychannel.com. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Turning now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in Indiana. Governor Holcomb is moving the state to stage 4 of reopening 2 days earlier than expected. Under stage 4, office buildings and retail stores can open at full capacity. Restaurants can increase capacity to 75%. Playgrounds can reopen and recreational leagues can resume. And museums, zoos, water parks, and movie theaters can open at 50% capacity. Governor Holcomb says the shift is thanks to positive signs in the state's COVID-19 data.
Hoosiers have, I think, for the most part, been very not only patient but vigilant, and that is that combination has allowed us to weather this storm and continue to progress from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 2 to stage 3, and now on to stage 4.
Stage 4 begins Friday. Now, how all this applies to Marion County remains to be seen. As you know, Mayor Hogsett has not reopened Indianapolis as quickly as the rest of the state, and our stages are about 2 weeks behind. We expect an update from Mayor Hogsett on restrictions and guidelines this afternoon. One change we can tell you about from the city will be that Illinois Street is back open to vehicle traffic. It was shut down last month to help restaurants offer outdoor dining. Yesterday, crews with the Department of Public Works reopened Illinois between Georgia and Market Streets. 3 streets remain closed to car traffic, parts of Mass Ave, Georgia Street, and Broad Ripple Avenue.
At 5:39, we do want to take a closer look at those numbers now. Marion County still leading the state with more than 10,000 coronavirus cases and 634 deaths from the virus since the pandemic began. On Wednesday, state health officials reported 339 new cases of COVID-19. So far, more than 38,000 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with this virus. The Department of Health also confirms 15 new COVID-19 deaths. Since the pandemic began, 2,173 people here in the state of Indiana have died from the coronavirus.
As communities work to rebound from the coronavirus pandemic, Johnson County is kicking off a day of giving.
The Johnson County Community Foundation is working to energize everyone who lives and works in the county as they celebrate 24 hours of giving to help local organizations during this challenging time. So I want to show you some video from their first giving day. This is back in 2018. Things obviously are going to be modified today to follow social distancing guidelines. If you donate to the Community Foundation today, all gifts will be matched 2 for 1 by the Lilly Endowment. For every dollar donated, Lilly will donate up to $95,000 as a part of their match campaign. Those dollars will then go into a grant-making fund that responds to the needs in the community. And Kim Minton with JCCF says due to COVID-19, the need is really great, especially for nonprofits like Interchurch Food Pantry and Reach for Youth.
Those organizations that are having troubles right now and the demand for their services have increased. So it's a very important fund here at the Community Foundation, and the bigger that fund is, the more money we're able to grant every year.
So here's a rundown of the events, many going virtual this year. They're jumpstarting the day with a donut drive, both in Franklin and Greenwood. During the lunch hour, they're hosting a virtual dunk tank over Facebook Live. And I learned our own Rafael Sanchez is participating. He tells me 11 o'clock, so we'll have to tune in for that. For a full rundown of the times and locations and all of the events taking place today, or if you just want to donate, you can visit jccf.org and click on Giving Day. And Todd, is it going to be a okay day to get maybe dunked in some water for Rafael?
Yeah, you know, whether you're in a dunk tank, going to a pool, or swimming in a lake or a stream here across central Indiana, you're going to be in good shape. And that includes if you want to get out and exercise here this morning. We have no alerts for you. It's a very comfortable morning for us with skies that are mainly clear and temperatures that are very comfortable. So you'll get the green, good to go here throughout the morning and even into the afternoon hours. So that is good news. And as far as your patio forecast from working from home, if you still are working from home, you're in great shape. Maybe take the work outdoors. A little hot the past couple days. That humidity is gone. High temperatures today will be right around 80 degrees, and we're going to continue this nice weather not only today but tomorrow into the weekend and beyond. We'll talk more about that extended forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Flex plus vitamin D for immune support.
Police departments across the country are announcing reforms in the wake of George Floyd's death. Last night, Floyd's brother marched outside the White House moments after pleading with members of Congress to, quote, stop the pain. This as we learn about new details about the officers charged in Floyd's death. ABC's Karina Mitchell has the latest.
This morning, one of the former Minneapolis police officers charged in George Floyd's death is out of jail. Thomas Lane posting $750,000 bail as new details emerge about Derek Chauvin, the former cop facing the most serious charges. Prosecutors say before his arrest, Chauvin was considering pleading guilty to civil rights charges and to murdering Floyd, but the deal fell apart.
Put your fist in the sky! Raise them up, raise them up. Put your fist in the sky! Raise them up, raise them up.
Wednesday night, Floyd's brother marching down Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington.
Thank y'all so much.
Earlier giving powerful testimony on Capitol Hill.
It has to be something to do with racism.
In response to demands for reform, the Minneapolis police chief says his department is withdrawing from contract negotiations with the police union. The mayor of Buffalo also announcing reforms after two officers were seen pushing a 75-year-old protester. And in New York City, former Attorney General Loretta Lynch will help investigate the NYPD's response to recent protests. The police union president says officers are unfairly being portrayed, quote, as the enemy.
Stop treating us like animals and thugs, and start treating us with some respect.
Karina Mitchell, ABC News, New York.
At 5:47, the entertainment industry is making changes as the cultural landscape changes. Cops has been praised as a real-life, unfiltered look at the daily lives of law enforcement officers, but now the show's been canceled. A critic who's investigated the show says it showed crimes committed by African Americans at a disproportionate rate and pictured police exclusively as good guys. Filming for Live PD, which recently featured the Lawrence Police Department here, has also ended production.
Police in Idaho have confirmed the human remains found on Chad Daybell's property are that of 7-year-old Joshua Vallow and 17-year-old Tylee Ryan. Their mother, Lori Vallow, was arrested in March after she and Daybell were found in Hawaii. She was extradited back to Idaho and now faces felony charges of desertion and non-support of a dependent child. She had refused to tell authorities where her children were. Chad Daybell was taken into custody Tuesday and made his first court appearance Wednesday. He is now being held on a $1 million bond. Both are due back in court next month.
A Colorado man and his daughter are recovering after a freak accident. They happened just outside their home when the storms hit and a tree fell on them. A branch impaled 9-year-old Caitlin Newman and her father, Enrich. Caitlin was quickly taken to the hospital where she was stitched up and later sent home. Enrich, on the other hand, has since undergone 3 surgeries. His family says he could come home from the hospital this week with a keepsake. The branch, he says, he'll never forget. All right, it was windy here yesterday, Todd, across central Indiana, and you're telling us that brought in a whole new air mass.
Yeah, the winds have changed, Lauren, no doubt about that. Take a look at your 24-hour temperature change. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right around 80 degrees for your temperature at this time, and here we are 21 degrees cooler in Indianapolis, 23 degrees cooler in Lafayette, Bloomington right around 19 to 20 degrees colder as well. So where does that put temperatures currently? Well, that puts them generally right around 60 degrees. I mentioned the winds. There's still a bit of a breeze out there, but we don't have those gusty winds like we had yesterday afternoon and into the evening hours. And as the day progresses, you notice the winds will calm to anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So that's a little bit of a breeze, but nothing that's going to cause any damage, nothing that's going to hamper you getting out and about here throughout the course of the day today. Skies are in the process of clearing out. I just looked outside my window and I have a nice good view of the moon with the clear skies here in central Indiana. And back off to the west, you notice that there's really nothing going on. High pressure is firmly in control, and as this area of high pressure builds in, that is what is going to help to make our winds calm down and give us all the sunshine here going forward in the forecast. 59 right now in the Indy, Tipton, as well as Peru. 61 in Bloomington. 59 is the current temperature in the Richmond area throughout the day today. There's a nice little view down Kirkwood there. It's going to look just like that today with the clear skies, not a cloud in the sky, and temperatures that'll top off right around 80 degrees. So get out there and enjoy. It's a good day to finally get out, maybe for a longer walk or bike ride. You don't have to contend with the heat and the humidity. This evening, sunset 9:13, 75 degrees as the sun sets. And then by tomorrow morning, you're waking up to temperatures very similar to what we're dealing with today in the 50s and 60s across the area. Now, one thing you'll notice going forward in the forecast is over the weekend, it's going to be a little bit cooler with temperatures in the 70s both Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be a little more in the way of cloud cover, I think, especially on Saturday, but overall, very, very nice weekend if you have any outdoor plans. And then going forward into next week, still mostly sunny. We're entering a pretty dry stretch of weather. I know some of you do need some rain across the area, me included. Some of you saw heavy rainfall the past 2 days, but some of you hardly saw a drop of rain. I was one of those, and unfortunately not much in the forecast enough to water your lawns. 87 degrees, your high temperature by the time we get to the middle of next week.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. This is I-465 and Allisonville Road. You can see traffic there is moving along up to speed, eastbound and westbound. No crashes, no delays here on the north side to slow down your Thursday commute.
Items from a makeshift memorial left during recent protests in the nation's capital have found a new home. They're being collected and preserved by the Smithsonian. A group of curators spent hours this past weekend collecting countless homemade signs, artwork, clothing, and other items left behind by protesters. They also spent time interviewing people to record their stories. Curators say the goal is to preserve these items so the story of today can be told 50, 100, 200 years from now. We'll be right back. A gym teacher in California is going above and beyond for his students. Jared Seller's classroom has changed since the coronavirus moved classes online. To connect with his students, Sellers transformed his garage into a gym. He bought equipment, flooring, and added new drains so the garage wouldn't flood if it rained. All to make online lessons for his students feel as in-person as possible. The classes are meant to help his students with motor learning skills, but parents say they mean so much more than that.
I do get choked up to see the look on their face that they saw because they felt so disconnected and they didn't fully, it's hard to explain to them exactly what was going on and why they weren't able to go to school.
There's no two ways about it. I have a great job. It's, a very meaningful way to spend my time, and to see the improvements with the kids is second to none.
Sellers says it cost him around $1,500 of his own hard-earned money making his garage into a home gym for those virtual classes, but it was all worth it to make a difference in his students' lives. And it sounds like Hugh will be very muscular come next school year if these workouts continue through the summer.
Oh, yes. And I think the students are looking forward to maybe getting back all together for gym class. But that's a pretty cool story there. Todd, if people are working out early this morning, it might be a good time right now because it is a little bit cooler than what we've seen the last couple days.
Yeah, not only cooler, but the humidity has come down as well. So it's a very comfortable morning for any exercise you do want to do outdoors. We're seeing temperatures right now generally right around 60 degrees. And that's the way it'll be here for the next couple hours as the sun gets higher above the horizon. 65 degrees by the time we get to 9 a.m. High temperatures today going up to generally right around 80 degrees across most of the area. A little bit of a breeze, but nothing like we saw yesterday. So that is good news. And the humidity, that remains low throughout the entire day today. So get out there and enjoy. We'll talk more about your extended forecast when we start the 6 o'clock hour coming up in just a few minutes. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6. Stay with us. We're back in a few.